Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have a very exciting day today. We have another live case study. We are joined by Andy. Welcome, Andy.
Hi, everybody.
So I started working with Andy. We were just trying to calculate it, maybe back in June, end of May, June. At
Mhm.
the time, Andy was working a 9 to 5 in corporate. She wanted more time with her partner, to build a family together and just to enjoy life more, really. From the get-go, Andy was determined. There was no fluff. She just had pure work ethic. So there is no surprise to me at all that we are here today. I think this case study will really resonate with women already in careers. And I guess really what society has already labeled as settle down, but they know they are meant for more and they know they're capable of more, just like Andy. Andy has gone on to achieve 13K months in high ticket sales, collecting 40K in commissions within 3 months, which nearly matches her old teaching salary of what she made in a year, which is absolutely mind blowing. And yeah, it's incredible. So I'm really excited to sit down with Andy today and share her incredible story with you. So let's get into it. I'd love for you to take us back to the very beginning, Andy, like before sales. Talk to us about what you were doing before and what led you into this industry.
Yeah, definitely. So my career really started with education, with teaching. I got my master's in early childhood, was in the classroom for 5 years. And after a while, I just, you know, the input that you were putting in was not what was coming out. And I had to work a ton just on top of even being in the classroom with the kids to even financially show what I believed was worth, what I was worth, basically. So from there, I went into fitness. So I worked full time as a personal trainer. I loved it. I mean, service is just like what drives me at the end of the day. But um, same 9 hour days on my feet. Same idea. I was just not. I was getting paid more, but my time was just being stripped away. I was not at home. I was so tired. I barely had any time for trips or vacations. I'm originally from Spain and I wasn't even able to go home for the summer, which really hurt. So yeah, then after that, one of my clients was an account executive for a Paris, which is just like a cybersecurity company. And he was like, "Well, have you thought about sales?" And I'm like, "Well, sales what?" And he's like, "Well, you do it every day with training." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's different, right?" Like I just didn't know that they were kind of like the same thing. And so he started opening me the door for what that corporate sales life could look like. And it sounded better than what I was doing. So I was like, "Okay, like let me just check this out." Ended up getting a role at a corporate job as a sales development rep. I was My salary was basically going to be 70K. That was including bonus. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm hybrid. I get to work from home twice a week, 3 days in the office. This is okay. And as I was getting into the world of sales, high ticket started coming in. And I kept seeing it on Reels, TikTok, YouTube, and I'm like, what is, honestly, at the beginning, I'm like, sounds like a scam. I'm like, it's too good to be true. But it just kept popping up. And I'm like, well, why are these girls, ranking in 10K, 12K months? And I'm basically doing the same thing just for corporate. And I'm not making that. I'm like, scratching 4K a month. So little, voice started, Andy, you gotta do this. Like, just look into it, look into it. So I look into it. And I think it was like a month of talking to just like different coaches and I filled out different applications and eventually I found you, Shelly, on YouTube. And I don't know if it's like your poise or just like how you carry yourself, but I just kept like listening to more of your videos, and eventually I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to her. And yeah, and then I like just talked to you after like a month of doing research, and my fiance and I decided, okay, this could be a scam, but I think maybe it's leaning on it's not.
Yeah.
So let's go for it. Um, and here we are today and
Here
talking
we
to you.
I'll never forget because it's the only time it's ever happened is your fiance popped on the screen and
Yeah.
was like, this better work. You better get this to work. And
Yes.
I was like, I will, I promise. We're in it together. And obviously
Mhm.
here we are, which is, I love that. And I'm so, so happy for you both. I'd love
Mhm.
to know, obviously, you kind of thought could be a bit of a scam. So what were your limiting beliefs around sales and mentorship at the start, do you think?
Oh, well, limiting beliefs. I feel like society just makes you believe that to be a good person, you can make good money.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with, a servicing, like I come from a place of service. So when you come from a place of service, they make you believe that to be selfless is to not make money, and you get paid on smiles and you get paid on cookies and you get paid on other things that are not financially tangible.
Mm.
And a lot of that, yes, is true. I mean, I loved training, and I love, the result of my clients. I loved my kids. That was beautiful. But just lifestyle wise, to me, it was just like taking so much out of me, and it just didn't seem reciprocate.
Mm.
So the limiting belief around just knowing that you can still be a good person, you can still be of service, you can still hold these, values and still want more for yourself and still, want to be making 10, 15K months. Um, I think that was like the biggest limiting belief. It was just
Yeah,
like this salesy, like, oh, you're gonna be scam me or you're gonna
so
and it's
true.
really not. Sales really comes from a place of service. Like at the end of the day, you're just providing something that's going to make a difference to someone that they just don't have that at the moment. So it's just when you
Yeah,
come from that point of view and from that place, um, it's really fulfilling.
yeah, totally. I couldn't agree more. And I know we touched a little bit on family earlier before we started recording, but I'd love for you to share, if you wouldn't mind, on your driving factor for wanting to get into sales and
Hmm.
for wanting to create this lifestyle.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I've always known I wanted to be a mom, and I come from single family household. My mom was the one that was the breadwinner. She was in education, so she took the safe route,
Mm.
paycheck, and that's just what she had to do. My situation is just different,
Yeah,
and I just knew that. I just like wanted to be just like a little bit. I just wanted something just different for myself and for the way that I would be able to be present for my child, just in the future. So I was starting to notice that just being away, like at the gym and working and being not home present, there was just so many things that were lacking. And since being home, my relationship with my fiance is so much better, and just the intention behind having a family and still being able to make money, because I could right now I work full time, but I'm still home. I could work part time. So just having the knowledge that I am so good at a skill
yeah,
that also allows me to be present at home, was
yeah.
just a huge driving factor for me. So I was like, I want to be able to make good money, and I want to be able to be present at home with my kids. And
100%.
it's never felt more real.
Yeah, I think it brings up such a big topic, doesn't it? And I do think, and I see this a lot on social media actually, especially these days. Now there is so much equality as there should be, but it puts a lot of pressure on women, I think, that you have to choose You either
Hmm.
want to be the career woman and you want to make your own money, or you want to be the family woman and you want to take care of your partner and your and your children and your family. And there's not much in society. There's not like a path really in like that corporate society to do both. Otherwise, you are completely burning the candle at both ends. And that's what I love about sales, and I think you would agree is you can be both. And maybe there's going to be different seasons where you're like hustling now more for your future, and then in your
Hmm.
future you take a step back a little bit. But the important thing is you decide, you have
Yeah.
choice. Has that been a change for you, or how have you found that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. There's just been so many things now that I wasn't even able to consider before. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I mentioned that I'm from Spain and
Mm,
I moved in high school. I was like 15 years old when I moved, and since then I haven't really been able to go back home for more than maybe like 1, 2 weeks tops at
yeah.
a time. And I mean, I'm shaking saying this right now because it's
Um,
crazy. I just booked it like last week, but I'm gonna be going to Madrid, which is where I'm from, for 2 months. And
wow.
I paid for the whole thing myself. And yeah, I mean, I'm hitting up all my Spain friends, like, I'm gonna be here for 2 months, and they're like freaking out because it's just never been able to be a possibility. Just spend more time with like my uncle, my cousins, like
Yeah.
I've never been able to even remotely consider doing that. And it's always
Yeah.
something that's been lacking from me because um yeah, I just haven't been able to be home much like since I moved, and I now am able to even think that I'm going to be able to have these two worlds that have always been a part of me, but I've always
Mm,
had to lean more towards the US because that's just where like I was just basically like linked to the job that I had, or I just wasn't able to be away for this much because my vacation time was that's gone. I'm like, I'm working from Spain. My manager are like thrilled with the fact that I'm following that dream and that path, that they're even able to like, allow me to do that. It's just insane.
incredible. Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. So yeah, and that's just thinking like down the future. Like I know that I'm gonna have my kids in the States, but knowing that now I have the ability and the liberty to, and the flexibility to take them to Spain for longer periods of time and show them that part of their culture, which is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just shaking saying
Yeah,
that.
that's what I love about filming these case studies because I'm not sure how much you have reflected. If you're anything like me, you probably just go, 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 and you don't quite realize that you have changed your entire life. And you are,
Mhm.
and this is like a perfect representation to just sit
Yeah.
back and also reflect on it, right?
Hmm.
Of the impact that what, 6 months, 5, 6 months can do when you just put your mind to it, you know? It's pretty
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. It is. It is. I love it.
And
I'm
yeah.
very happy.
And I guess with that in mind, then, so I'd love to know how did you feel coming into the program? Obviously, I know there was a bit of apprehension at the start, kind of finding the right
Mhm.
person as well. So, what was your experience like coming into the program?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, again, I felt I was like, I'm gonna take the leap. I hope it's not a scam. But I mean, just talking to you, so what I loved especially about you and your program is that there were other coaches out there that had, I guess, like their own high ticket offers, and so they weren't the ones that I was talking to. And
Mm,
just knowing that like you were putting yourself on the line to grow this community, and I was just so early that I was just able to have that interaction with you. I'm like, I'm banking on her, so that made me feel good. So that was like to starters. And then just the way that you had laid everything out, from this is the setting appointments, these are the, different styles that you can go into. This is what it would look like to be a closer. This is what you need. This is who you need to talk to. These are the recruiters that you should follow. This is the Facebook page you need to make. Like there was guidance. And as a teacher and a coach, I need that guidance and I appreciate the guidance. Um, so yeah, I feel like when you're going into the world of high ticket, it really could feel like the Wild West. And you don't know what is true and what's not. And just having a coach to be able to thrift through that with you,
Mm.
it just saves you a ton of time, you know? So, and yeah, and it honestly could avoid a lot of costly mistakes as well.
And I think a thing that we touched on earlier as well, an important thing is connections. Obviously, like you said, when you joined the program very early days, you really did take a bet on me. This was super early into the Female Sales Accelerator. Now we have jobs for days coming in for all the girls and
Yeah.
all these like different, fancy
Mhm.
AI and all these different things that we had that we didn't have back then. But for
Totally.
you, been able to leverage both the network and the job side of things. I'd love for you to just share your experience a little bit with how you landed your role.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I jumped on the first job listing that you put. And yeah, I was looking at it now and it looks so pretty. But back then it was like, here are all the offers are coming in, and like you did an amazing job at organizing it all. But um I was looking at the ones that had to do with community, self-development, service, training. Like those were the ones that were just calling me. And so I found the offer that I'm in now, which is the Founders Club. I love them to death. And when they posted it, it was through a recruiter that I had originally followed on Facebook like 2 months like prior. I would think it was like the first month that I signed up that was going through, this is how you create your personal brand. These are the recruiters that you should follow. So I followed that whole list, followed everybody, introduced myself, and 3 months later, whenever I was going through that job post, that was this I was one of the same recruiters. So I hit them up personally and I said, "Hey, this is Sandy. I, saw your listing on Shelly's site. I, just wanted to let you know that I applied for this role." And within literally 10 minutes, I had my interview.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think it's so important. I'd love your take on this. Yes,
Hmm.
I want to provide you jobs, and yes, I provide all the girls, all those jobs coming in, but it's also important that I provide you the techniques to find roles independently and that you have your own connections. So, with or without me, you're connected to the recruiters and you
Yeah.
know where to go. Because what's the saying? You can give a man a fish, and he eats for a day, but
But
if
you
you
teach you teach them how to fish, they can eat forever. Yeah.
and that's the goal. So
Hmm.
yeah, and that clearly worked for you. So that's incredible. And I think
Yeah.
it is a testament because that was a big old list of jobs. So to
Hmm.
to spend the time trawling through them and
Yeah.
figuring
Yeah.
it
And I
out.
think also the support within the community with the girls. I mean, you have girls from all over the place. And just like I've spoken to girls from the UK, I've spoken to girls from Texas, like I've spoken to girls from like all over. Um, and just knowing that there's that community, that you can role play with and you can lean on each other and is this offer real? Like, does this sound too good to be true? Or, hey, no, definitely don't talk to them. Like, they're not good, or, so it's just having that, yeah, that community to back you up, as well feels really nice.
For anyone thinking or, early days into the high ticket sales space, what has been your biggest learning so far, your biggest lesson so far, do you think?
Oh, my biggest learning so far. So I think that with sales, there's definitely an emotional roller coaster,
Mm.
where there's gonna be some days where you're like feeling all the dopamine and you're just every conversation just feels right, hits right. And then there's gonna be other days where it's not like that at all. So being able to kind of like take a step back and not look at the day or the week, but just kind of look at your months and overall, like as a month, you had a great month. Like you're gonna have a great month. And there might be months where there may be lower than others or whatnot, but it's just really getting comfortable with that feeling of just emotional roller coaster. And it really just comes with reps. Like the more I still something I deal with. So it's just like the more reps, the more consistency, the more that you see like, oh, there might be a day that's not going great, but wow, I just had four that are great. You're gonna start realizing that that's just how it is. And just keep hounding on your skills and yeah, and just really is just really that emotional roller coaster. Um, Putting effort into what you can control and just, letting everything else kind of fall into place like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think mindset is huge. I think that's something that people don't touch on enough, but you have to be mentally strong, right? You have to train yourself to not put your self-worth on the money you make or on that
Yeah.
one day because you can have one. I always tell this story, but I had a sales manager once who, for 29 days of the month, she made no sales and it was horrendous. And on that last day, she made more sales than everyone combined and she was top performer. And I think that sums sales up perfectly because you never know. You just have to keep on trusting yourself and your inputs. You know what I mean?
hmm Yeah, yeah, your input's exactly 100%. It's just like what you can control and just keep hounding on your skills. Like there's days that are amazing and I'm like on 16 calls and it's just everything, everyone's showing up and everyone's great and all these things. And then there's other days where um that's just not the case. And honestly, on those days, I take advantage to like do other things, like maybe watch other people's calls or watch my calls or watch
Mm,
closers' calls, or you just put your efforts into just in a different way that at the end they're just gonna pay out, just the same.
yeah, 100%. What does it take? Like, what's a day in the life for you? Someone who's making 13K a month, what does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I joined in September, yeah, it was like the middle of September. Um, my first day, I had 16 calls on the calendar,
Oh, wow.
and every single one of them showed up.
My
So
goodness.
yeah, yeah, it was wild, but I crushed it. I killed it. So that was definitely kind of I love that I started out like that because now when I have like 9 calls in the calendar, which is still a lot, I'm like, what do I do with my time? So it's amazing that I kind of started strong like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, just to give you perspective, you're not never, but you're not always going to have like that volume of calls in your calendar. Um, I'm a yapper, like through and through. So I was just like, oh my God, this was the best day ever. But December, for example, lower month, right? There wasn't as many people in the calendar, but it was my best month. I had a better month that month than I did in October, and I had less volume of calls. So that just goes to show more also for hounding on the skills. Like I had less conversations, but because I had my reps in and I got better, they just, were going up like that as well.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty.
yeah, that's like a day in the life, just, having a ton of conversations. Definitely like when, somebody's not showing up, call them. Don't be shy to call them. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, I totally forgot I'm jumping on Zoom right now. That's like, sometimes you'll just have to have the conversation over the phone and you just gotta get good at taking notes. Um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, and then when let's say somebody doesn't show up, don't go on your phone. That's like something that, I definitely am guilty of. Like there'll be some times where like somebody's not showing up or you have less volume and you just get distracted with other things. Like
Yeah.
keep hounding, keep hounding, keep hounding. Because if you keep doing that when you do have less calls on or less prospect shows up, the ones that you are present for, you're really there for. And it shows up.
Everyone's going to want you when they see this case study. It's very rare to have that mindset in sales. I was the same. Like, I could never understand it personally, and maybe you'll probably agree. Like back in the day, I would be hungry. If I had a no-show, I'd be
Mhm.
dialing my pipeline, self-setting these, doing whatever I could, not
Yeah.
scrolling on Instagram reels. Like I
Mhm.
wanted it. And I think that's why you're making the money you have in such a short amount of time because you clearly want it. And you
Mhm.
don't have to be like that every day, right? Like, especially as women, we have our weeks where we're on, we have our weeks when we're off.
Mhm.
But I think if you really want to see success, you do have
Mhm.
to have that work ethic. You do have to be
Mhm.
hungry for it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think that also goes like on the other side, like you are sitting down, you are talking a lot, you are taking up a lot of like the prospect's energy. And sometimes you do have to step away. So,
One.
I also have learned that where I'm like, okay, I think I need to like just close my computer, stand up.
100%.
Maybe like I love that I'm home now, so I'm like doing my laundry, the dishes, like everything. I also just like love that I have a hold on my household because when
Yeah.
I was just not home, like things would pile up by the end of the week, and my fiance and I do a great job of kind of like you do that, I do this, you're good at this, I'm good at this, and we divide and conquer, but just everything is just good like at the end of the day. It's not at the end of the week anymore, because like I'm just more present at home, and it just also like having done an action at home just also kind of it's like, okay, I got this under control. Now
You're
I'm
good.
I'm I'm good again here.
Totally. Oh, I relate to that. There's nothing more I love than a clean house and being able to
Hmm.
do that whenever you want in the middle of the day.
Hmm. Yes.
What do people around you think of this new
Well,
change?
when I first started, Andy, you're crazy. That's what they were telling me. They're like, you're nuts. Um, so at the beginning, it was hard for me to explain what I was doing, and I almost kind of like shied away from like saying too much because it was
Yeah.
like I'm still wrapping my head around this, and I feel like I just don't need outside opinions
Yeah.
to make my decisions, and I just like had my conversations with my partner who I share my life with.
Hmm.
um and he was like, as long as you do your homework and on what this looks like, and you can articulate to me this is blah blah blah, like I'm all in. So he was all in with me, which was the support I felt like I needed. And and then yeah, and then after that I just like started doing it, doing it, doing it. My first 2 weeks were like 14-hour days because I was, learning everything and jumping on so many calls. And so it was like it was a lot of time. So at first, especially those 2 weeks, they were like, what did you sign up yourself for? Like you're not even working out and like all these things. And then middle of October or September, October, yeah, middle of October hit, and I was just like, okay, like I'm getting like all the rhythm on this. It's like starting anything new, when you start anything
Yeah.
new, you just have to be all in. And then after you get the hang of it, and then you can have again just more flexibility,
Love
and you just start seeing the other side that everybody speaks about, right? So
it.
being able to walk my dogs in the middle of the day, being able to go to a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day. And, it's just, I don't even have to like ask. It's more of like, here's my schedule. This is what I have going on. And my calls are just on the other side of what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, it was super liberating. And then, um, being able to have an offer, I was just more explaining what my offer was to my friends. And they were like, oh, okay, got it. Like now this is just like making a little bit more sense. And yeah, now everybody's like super proud of me because they're seeing that I'm getting back what I'm putting in. And that is
Yeah.
something that I feel like I've always lacked on the jobs that I've had.
100%. And I think that's such an important thing to touch on that it's okay for like women watching this. It's okay that not everyone is supportive at first. I think
Yeah.
sometimes we think that we have to please everyone and this and that and the other. Like for
Mm,
you, and I've always remembered that with you, for you, as long as you and your partner are on the same page, you were always very firm with that. That was your boundary. Then
mhm,
no one else mattered, and everyone else will have a different boundary of what that may be for them. But as long as you feel content in yourself,
mhm.
um, go for it. Who cares what everyone
Yeah.
else thinks? It's your life, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, my friends were like, and my family were like, this sounds a little nutty, but at the same time, they're like, everything that you've ever done has paid off because you've made it paid off. So,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, that's all, that's also just all I need, like just I know that at the end of the day, you might not understand, but you believe, so we're good.
Yeah. What are your goals from here, Andy? What are you looking to achieve in 2026?
Um, 2026. Well, I would love to stay with this offer for the entirety of the year. Um, it's definitely I came in when, I think we were like less than 500 members in the community that we had, and now we're like reaching the 1,000. So it's um very empowering. That I just feel very empowered by like the offer that I'm in. So
Yeah.
just keep growing and building with them and whatever that looks like. I know that they're building different chapters in different cities. Denver is one, and then that's where I'm in. That's prominent for 2026. So just keep on building with this offer, keep honing the skills. I am a setter right now. Eventually, I would like to go to that closer role. But as of right now, I'm really happy with the income that is coming in, really happy with the position that I have, really happy with the offer that I have, the opportunity that I have to go to Spain now this year for 2 months. So it's just staying consistent and keep building and building and building and building and building.
I love that 100%. And I guess to finalize, there are going to be so many women watching this that really resonate with your story and kind of where you are in life and what you're looking to build. What would you say to them if they're sitting on the fence and they've maybe been in their career for 5+ years and they just think, right, I should just stay the same, even though they're not happy, but they're scared to take that jump? What
Hmm.
advice would you give them now you're on the other side?
Oh, well, I mean, I've changed my job 3 times in my 4 times technically with this one in my 20s. I think that there is no time like the present, and time just keeps going by. Like you might have these feelings, but time doesn't stop for those feelings. So you have to catch up to that and take the risk, take the leap. I you know was I'm lucky that I have my fiance, and he's financially stable, so we're financially stable. But I was able to take the risk and leave my job and completely start the new one. Like I didn't mesh the two at the beginning. I was just, okay, I got hired full time. I put my 2 weeks in and I started this completely, and it was a risk for 100%. And I understand that not everybody's going to have the ability to do that. But just from talking to other women in the program, there's been situations where they didn't have that stability. So they had their job and then they built the part-time on top of that.
Yeah.
They started seeing the rewards and the rip of that. And then they were like, okay, I think I can start like leaving that job. So depending on the situation and how much risk you are genuinely able to take, then, start building from there. If it's part-time, it's part-time. You start kind of seeing like what that looks like. And then, it's just believing and taking that risk.
Yeah, I think it's just at the end of the day taking action, whether it's perfect or imperfect, it's just
Mhm.
moving and
Yeah.
not staying stuck feeling unhappy, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. 100%. Because you don't want to be 80 and looking back and being like, oh, I could have, or if, or. No, none of that.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah. Hmm.
Andy, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been such a pleasure to be able to sit down and chat with you. And there is so many key takeaways, whether you realize it or not. Your journey is so inspiring to so many women out there. So I can't wait to share this. And as always, guys, if you're watching this and Andy's story inspires you and you want similar for yourself, there's going to be a link down below. You can book a call with us and we can chat with you about your goals to see if we can help make them a reality. But that is it from us. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.